All right, we are back. How's it going tonight, Jeff?
Pretty good, Junior.
All right, everybody.
Driveway.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because you probably just spent a week in that thing?
Yeah, about that, like five days.
So tonight, Zach will not be joining us. He's got some family arrangements he had to take care of. So tonight we have special co-host, works at Dollar Hobbies. We'll talk about what you do in a second, Jeff Choban. Yeah, it's been about a year since you've been on. About
something like that. A little too long, I guess.
It's all right though.
Glad
It's
to be
all
here now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So speaking of Dollar Hobbies, we have two sponsors tonight. We have Dollar Hobbies for one, and we have Party Crashers for another. But we'll get into Dollar Hobbies first. So Dollar Hobbies, they started back in 2002 in a small little warehouse, Stillwater, I believe. They're the largest seller of Traxxas product on Amazon. They have a freshly revamped website that works excellent. They have over 13,000 products available at dollarhobbies.com. With over 130 brands carried, nobody in the U.S. beats their prices. They will price match. Free shipping in the lower 48 states with orders over $49. Most orders will ship the same day. They always have coupons and deals running at dollarhobbies.com/deals. The track, I mean, it's coming up on indoor season. Summer goes way too fast in Minnesota. But the good thing about the summer going fast is we have indoor season coming at Dollar Hobbies. They are having a little bit of racing this summer as well. They have birthday parties and corporate events starting at $249. They have a bunch of skilled staff. And right now, they are running a coupon code or two. Put in Joe Jr. at dollarhobbies.com to save 10% off of your entire order. Or, oh man, I just went into full screen. That's interesting. Sorry about that. I hit a wrong button. Or save 15% off of all Donathan RC products with the code DRC at checkout. Both of those codes are good until August 31st. So where were you last week? I saw you were on a little vacation with the family and whatnot. Uh-oh. Are we frozen? Oh, no. I think I'm good. I think Jeff's frozen. That's all right. We'll keep on going with other stuff. Oh, he dropped. He said that his internet might be sketchy. He's in the camper right now, which is all right. So yeah, a lot has happened this last week. And there's Jeff.
I clicked on the button that says comments, and my whole screen just went black. So I'm not touching that again.
No, so you know what happened? So what happened was I accidentally hit a wrong button when I was putting up the banner, and it went into full screen, and it went really weird for a second. So,
okay. Well, I think I got it now.
You know, Keenan White from the No Name RC podcast and I are looking into different streaming services. StreamYard's been a little bit funky lately, and they doubled their price recently. So it's yeah, it is what it is. So anyways, you were on a vacation with the family last week in the camper. Where did you guys head out to?
We went down to Makeda, Iowa.
Yep.
And Snake State Park. Hadn't been there before. I gotta ask, can you see me okay or hear me? My
Yeah, I can see and hear you just fine.
Okay. Well, whatever. I can't see anything. Went down to Maketta, Iowa. It's a nice state park. I don't know, hour and a half past Cedar Rapids. They've got the unique thing about Maketta is they've got 16 caves along the trails. Longest one I think is like 1,100 feet, something like that.
Oh.
So, yeah, we took the kids and went exploring. Did that for a few days, had a lot of fun, and then went up to the Field of Dreams. Checked out, played catch on the field, checked that out a little bit. Cool. It's a cool tourist trap, like it's super touristy now, but it was fun. I'm really glad we went.
Definitely. So you're in Iowa. There was also the Bridges of Madison County in Iowa as well. I don't know if you hit that. It was a cheesy ladies movie from the 90s.
So I married a lovely wife who does not like cheesy romance movies.
I know, mine doesn't either, and it makes me so happy. Except she's getting really into like K-romance dramas to where it's like, you watch them by yourself. She doesn't have to come to the RC car track, and I don't have to do any of that.
There you go. That's a good trade. So
yeah,
this isn't real prepared of me, but I'm gonna bounce for a second here because literally my screen is just black.
That's fine.
I'm gonna restart, and I'll be back in like a minute.
That's fine. Jacob Schweisberger checking in, Jessica Oldham checking in, and Lance Parker checking in. How's it going, guys? Yeah, a lot of those guys. Well, Jessica and Lance came to the track today. Very hot day. Yeah, I'm getting kind of excited here for the next few weeks. I'm getting closer to getting the engine built for my fifth scale. Hey, Tim Sletton checking in. Yeah, we're just waiting for Jeff to turn his stuff back on. You know, like I was saying earlier, StreamYard's been a little bit funky lately. We're looking at other options. I want to say it's like $50 a month for StreamYard, and you only get like 3 keys to stream it. You know, it would be nice to stream it more places than like Facebook and YouTube and a generic Twitch channel. So anyways, hey, Justin Dawkins checking in. Oh man, but yeah, I was just saying I'm getting excited for racing, and I'm getting excited. I started rebuilding a motor for the fifth scale.
Sounds expensive.
Actually, it's not bad. After you get all the parts, it's about $110 for a non-modified setup, because I'm going to rebuild a stock motor stock first, and then I'm going to go from there.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, so you were down in Iowa. That's pretty cool. That RV is fairly new to you guys. Didn't you just get that last year? It's like you rented one and you caught the bug.
Yeah, exactly. So we bought this one a year ago, I don't know, like 13, 14 months ago. Went everywhere with the last summer, did Black Hills, Badlands, a bunch of other trips. Prior to that, we flew to Vegas, rented an RV similar to the one we bought.
Okay.
And the original plan was to do a loop like around the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
But about a week prior to our flight, I called just to like confirm some camp spots that we were working on and everything. And they're like, well, no, you can't camp here because we haven't been plowed out yet.
Oh.
Like, plowed out? What the hell are you talking about? This is Arizona. And they had gotten like 2 feet of snow.
Really?
So, yeah. So we had to kind of make a big change of plans last minute. And instead we went west from Vegas through Death Valley, kind of over to Mount Whitney, down to the bottom of California to Lake Havasu, Arizona, and back. Just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it was a couple months after that we bought one.
That's awesome. So one more question about this, and then we'll get into some good RC action. So with Iowa, with that park you guys stayed at, how far ahead did you have to reserve? Because when I had my pop-up camper, I was looking at like KRA sites and you had to like reserve 18 months ahead of time.
So we try to do as much as we can during the week.
Yep.
This was like we showed up Monday morning, we left Thursday night. That helps a lot. And then, I don't know, some parks are 6 months to a year in advance. This one, I don't know, I think we booked it in like April.
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
No.
So, all right. So, let's see here. What do you have coming up at Dollar Hobbies here? Are you I know you guys have been racing a bit this summer. Have you been getting enough turnouts to race? I know it's really hard in the summertime.
So Saturdays have been good.
Yep.
30 plus entries. The first Tuesday race, we didn't have many people show up. The second one, I totally screwed the booch and we didn't have a race director.
Yeah.
And then this last one we had, I think, like 20 entries or so.
Getting enough honestly, to race.
It was really nice because there were enough to have a heat of every class. And races start at 6:30 and the last main ended just after 8:30. So it was like, it's a Tuesday night. You're still home early enough to get up for work Wednesday. No biggie.
Right. So
we're going to keep that going. We've got a Saturday race every 4 weeks, and then we're doing every other Tuesday. And then July 18th and 19th, we have a on-road race. Track's going to be off-road the rest of the summer. Other than that,
okay.
We're going to do a 2.4-hour endurance race for the Road Rash Club.
Yep.
That they don't have a race in July, so we're going to help them out with that. And then we'll also have a regular on-road club race.
Yeah, I wish I could be at that one actually, but the wife and I will be in Chicago that weekend.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So, last episode I said I was going to take 2 full weeks off. Well, that never ends up happening. I see Eric Jones, Scott Schultz, and Dwayne Fisher checking in. Awesome. So I took a gig this weekend. Last weekend, round 2 of the MNRC at Loose Nuts was rained out, and they rescheduled for this weekend. Holy crap. So at Loose Nuts, they got they rented this attachment for their Bobcat. It was like the drum with the spikes in it. That track was billiard smooth all weekend. I wish I would have driven on it today. I was going to bring my fifth scale, but right now, good fifth scale tires are hard to come by. So my tires have to be used at the track where I'm racing. But yeah, it was an awesome weekend of racing. We ended up with all the late entries, we ended up with 81 entries, which is pretty darn low for an MNRC event. But it was last second. It's like a lot of people take their vacation around the MNRC and they don't have the flexibility to be like, oh, just kidding, I want this weekend off. So, we would have liked to see a lot more, but we totally understand. It was a pretty great weekend of racing, except for the final race, but we don't have to talk about that. I am going to recommend points deductions, but that's about as far as I'm going into that. The Slentons
going to leave everyone hanging. Got it.
Yeah, I am leaving everyone hanging. I left that comment in the RC Racing group, and nothing more needs to be said. Because, that's general. That's just not at MNRC events. That's every track in the state. So, anyways, MNRC was a great time this weekend. And, next weekend we're racing fifth scale at FTR. I'm kind of bummed rolling into the next ad, the MNRC PLR racing, the Party Crashers, they're having a race Saturday the 28th at Hub Hobby for the parking lot racing. I'm going to be missing that one because I'm going to be racing one fifth scale at FTR. But I'm, I always hope for the best for those guys,
Is
But
that the hub in Richfield or Little Canada?
Little Canada, it's weird going there because you raced in like the late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yep. That's where I bought my first like real RC car. Was that store.
Right. So I've talked about a million times, but Senior and I used to go there we used to go to different hobby shops just about every Sunday because we would be at like North Star, Max Models, and Jeff Brewstead worked at one of the Hub Hobbies, and he would have a part on his car we'd won, and he'd be like, we have it in stock at Hub Hobby. Dan Alvarez worked at, I don't remember. I know his Hobby Warehouse, but I think he worked somewhere prior. It might have been RC City. And then there's RC Pro Shop guys, et cetera, et cetera. But that particular Hub Hobby, we went there almost every single Sunday hunting for parts. But it's so cool to see that they're still going in the same location for all those years. But anyways, I don't know if you listened to the last episode, but Party Crashers is doing something pretty cool. They're doing an RC summer camp. Okay. So for $495, your kids gets a slash kit, an upgraded tool kit, a charger, and a battery and a toolbox, and they'll sit for a week and they'll build that car all week and with the help of other people, and then they'll get to race it on the final day. So that's being done through the St. Michael Albertville School District from July 14th to July 18th. Check them out on the Party Crashers website or the St. Michael Albertville Community Ed site. It's limited to 24 kids. And I know that we don't have a lot of people listening from like St. Michael, but everybody knows somebody from that area. Let them know. It's a really cool experience. I mean, it's super cool to build a car from bottom up. And yeah, great way to get kids into racing as well, because they can take that slash. They can go race at Dollar Hobbies. They can go race at MMR. They can race the parking lots. They can race anywhere with it. So, yeah, check them out. So Jacob, Guy Wing checking in. Jacob Schweisberger is wondering, is Dollar Hobbies having any trophy races this winter?
Yeah, so we'll have the Christmas Classic for On-Road weekend race. I just posted a save the date promo for that.
Yeah, it's like the 7th and 8th of December, around there.
Around there, yeah. It's the first full weekend of December.
Yep.
And then probably the first full weekend of March, we'll do the Icebreaker off-road race again.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, that was a really good time. Other than that, I mean, probably not, but maybe.
Yeah, but I am so happy how much the Christmas Classic has grown over the years. I mean, the first Christmas Classic was, 2018? And they had like 90, 95 entries. And then
it was almost 100. And then it just kind of
went down
for a few years.
But it's been coming back strong the past 2-3 years. And it's becoming one of those races that I bet almost everybody from the Midwest was there last year. Just about.
We had a lot of good drivers. A lot of representation from the Osmatics team.
Yes.
That was super Brad Johnson, cool. Eric Jones, Bill Sider, Brian Bussey. A lot of fast guys there. Like you said, it's kind of becoming a good race in the Midwest. We're not trying to get to the level of like indoor champs or something like that. But I think we can. I mean, we don't have the space. But
yeah, I was going to say there's no space.
What I want to offer though is a weekend race where you've got great competition and lots of quality track time. Like it might not just be tons of rounds or whatever, but like
Yeah.
there's plenty of practice time where you've got marshals, you got controlled practice, if that makes sense. You get really good track time on a high quality track with top level drivers kind of setting the pace for everybody. So like those are the events where you get better.
Eric says he's still using the set of tires he got from that race.
Oh, I wish I had a set with me. I finally wore my set out. I ran one set in both 25.5 sedan and 21.5 sedan.
Really?
And last weekend at Genesis, I went out there. Brandon's having some Saturday club races this summer. Went out there,
cool.
And I finally it's had the ring around the inside forever, but it finally started to tear through.
Oh.
So I think I've got like maybe 3 or 4 more runs in them, but they're finally about done. But I got the set from the same batch that I ran on my mod car and failed miserably with. I can probably run those until like October.
So now here's a question too. So mod touring car for that event it's a pretty decent size. Are you going to continue to try to grow mod touring in Minnesota, or are you just going to kind of leave it for that event?
Probably just for that event. So I think the one of the challenges with mod is there's like a couple dozen people in the country who can competently race mod on a small carpet track. Not just like circulate and make laps and stay off the boards, but actually race each other. Like that's a really small number of people that can handle that. So I don't know. I feel like for club racing, it'd be fun, but for me, 21.5, 17.5, something like that's fast enough. I mean, even 21.5 club racing, we're getting to mid 7-second laps. It's pretty silly. I don't know. Mod's just kind of one of those things where it's like there are some unicorn clubs out there where they can run it weekly, but I think most of the guys who run mod know they're going to practice it locally, maybe have 1 or 2 other guys to run with, and they're really only going to get to race it a handful of times a year. That's just kind of what it is. It's so fast.
Well, Zach, he races modified on an outdoor asphalt track in the summertime. Because that's where he can get it.
Yeah, but I mean, outdoor is a little different. But even there, it's still like just stupid fast.
Hey, Eric Jones, if you're still on here, let me know. Speaking of outdoor pavement, has there been any movement towards a new Heart of America track? So,
by the way, speaking of Eric in the Christmas Classic, I think he finished like 2nd or 3rd in the mod touring A main at the Classic last year with a 13.5 motor.
Yeah,
in his stock car.
You can on that track. You can only go so fast, except for there's that super teeny, like I forget who won it, but I was told I was supposed. Did Buster win it? Okay. Yeah. There is another guy there as well.
Yeah, it's I mean, like Snowbirds or Champs or a big track. You go to Apex, like no, you're not going to make that work. Then you need a real motor, but
sure,
a little track like ours, yeah, it's probably faster.
Eric says that Mark is still working on the Heart of America track. So you work at Dollar Hobbies. Maybe refresh people what you do there, because isn't Tim the store manager?
Yep. So Tim is the store manager. I mean, it's a small business, so like everybody wears a lot of hats.
Yes.
I like that. So everybody there kind of knows me now for managing the race program. I direct our on-road races. Otherwise, it's kind of like answering the questions, building the schedule, figuring out rule sets, what classes we're going to run. putting out the fires to the best of my ability. But that's like 10% of my job, maybe. But it's actually the part that when they hired me, I was specifically asked to try to minimize my time in the track because that's not what they wanted to pay me for.
Yeah.
So, and then I ended up taking it on and I didn't get a raise. So it's basically
Oh.
volunteer work, but that's okay. I gladly do it.
Yeah.
So we sell a ton of product on Amazon, on eBay, trying to rejuvenate our own website. So
Yes.
I do a lot of the buying for
Okay.
everything. Mostly all of our smaller miscellaneous vendors. So I buy from like 25 to 30 vendors a month. And then I manage the data and the listing info for everything that we sell on Amazon, on eBay, on our website, in the storefront. So I'm sort of the, like, I don't know, e-commerce, product management, procurement, kind of a little bit of everything, I guess.
Yep.
I more or less built the new website pretty much on my own. Had a little bit of help.
The new website is nice.
Thanks. I mean, that stuff's gotten a lot easier now. We use Shopify, so there's a lot of templates. It's a lot of plug and play elements, but it's still just trying to set up the data on the back end and make it make sense. I'm hoping in the next week or two to roll out being able to input your vehicle and then search for parts that fit it.
Okay.
So I know AMain has that. Every
Napa
parts store.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to be able to say, Team Associated TC8, and then it just shows me only parts that fit that vehicle, or Traxxas Slash or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think the next couple of weeks we'll have that launched for Traxxas and Associated and Awesomatics, and then all is kind of expanded from there.
So I have a question for you. So I'm excited. I get excited for new vehicles, even if I'm never, ever going to buy one. Like Lowe's came out with the new stadium truck. We knew they were coming out with it. Yeah, I know. But got excited about it because, it's another cool vehicle. Associated came out with their B84. So when that comes out, do you get excited, or are you like, oh my God, I got to create so many new things for the webpage. My life's going to be a living hell.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's work, but like, that's what I'm paid for. Right.
Right.
I think it depends, right? Now the Associated B84, like, yeah, that's cool. Cause we're going to have a lot of local guys buying that and racing it. If I ever wanted to try Wheeler, that's probably the route I'd go.
That or X-Ray.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Either way. Now, so, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest. There's always some favoritism on my side. Like, if there's a vehicle where I'm like, I can see myself owning this. Yeah, yes. I'm super excited to settle that up and research the parts and research the aftermarket. But all of it, it's just like, well, this is the new hot thing, potentially. I want the company I work for to grow, so I need to get it in as soon as I can and get it set up. We want to be at the leading edge of that. Right.
I pulled it up just now, and it is we all knew they were going to do the narrow pivot long arm scenario. That just seems to be the hot thing right now. But look at those chassis braces. Like, look at that rear chassis brace. That is so cool. And it's almost it is a scale like. So instead of having that flat piece on the bottom that you throw whatever piece, stiffener piece in, it's like an A scale rear brace now. But yeah, it's gonna be a cool car. And like I said, it's the narrow pivot, long arm. Everything's going in that direction.
Yeah. So now, Junior, you're much more of an off-road racer than I am. I'm an on-road guy who dabbles in off-road. You're an off-road racer.
Yeah.
What is early on still? what's your opinion of the designs you've been seeing from Kyle Klinkworth? Because it's my
From who?
understanding that Kyle Klinkworth. It's my understanding he's the chief engineer
Yes.
for the B7, the B84, and then also the TC8.
If you want my opinions about it, I will be honest with you, and they are great designs. And what I think though is he needs one or two more people working with him, that maybe somebody above him. The reason being is a lot of the stuff is dimensionally correct, but it's almost like the prototype before the production release, the stuff that's being released. Like they would have been able, if he had somebody else, I know he has people in his ear, but if he had somebody else above him in his ear, he would have been, they would have seen that C-hub issue with the B7 and that how it's thin in the front of the chassis in the B7, it bends and breaks. That would have been fixed. The 5-gear would have been an option. Now the TC8, there's a couple of small things Zach and I went over, which is, I guarantee an aftermarket company is going to come out with a quick fix for all of that stuff.
I mean, I feel like that car's still too soon to tell. Like
It's
just finally in the hands of your average racer.
Yeah, I was going to say, does anybody locally have it that you know of?
Yes.
Okay. Because I mean, obviously, if I were going on road, I would go down that route. What's funny is I was talking to, why can't I think of his name? Oh my God. The son of the originator of Team Associated. Oh, holy crap. I think I'm having a stroke. Anyways, I was talking to him at the Vintage Clash, and I was kind of badgering him a little bit while I was interviewing him. I'm like, so you have the TC8, you know, what about a 12 scale? And he's like, shut up, Junior, kind of. So potentially, I would say 30 to 50% potential the Team Associated will have a 12 scale as well, especially if this TC8 goes well.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, kind of.
Yeah.
Like 12 scale is so niche.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that's a car that's very expensive to develop either.
Right.
Especially when everybody else just copies the Osmatics design. So it's like,
exactly. Yeah,
it was blue Osmatics.
Yeah, it was Kurt Hustings. But, and again, that's the thing. It's, let's say the Team Associated's not the fastest, but let's say it's a competent vehicle. The TC8 I'm talking. Touring car is going to grow immensely because of it. Because of all the off-road guys that are like, man, I would do this, but my favorite company doesn't make a car.
Well, also, the price point of it is really good, especially if you're getting like some kind of a team discount.
Yeah.
You're in it about half the price of anything else at that point. So
not quite, but there's a deal.
Well, okay, yeah. So yeah, I hope we get some people trying on road again who haven't in a while, and you know, hopefully we can get most of them to stick around.
Yep. So it's $660 for the roller.
Yep.
I mean,
but
that's
if you're on the team, you're probably getting that for about $500.
Yeah. I mean, it's super affordable. Mm-hmm. Man, I do want that Kinwald kit and that Kinwald kit and that Cliff Let. I know I was saying Cliff Let and Kinwald. I want those kits, but it bothers me greatly how they made those chassis. But that's getting into metal stampings, and nobody needs to hear about that. They did them wrong. Jeremiah's wondering, is there any talk about expanding the business? It seems like you could easily outgrow the building you are in. Dollar Hobbies, he means. A place dedicated with a dedicated on-road and a dedicated off-road and maybe a dirt track, maybe an oval track. But he's just wondering, has Dollar kind of outgrown the space yet?
Okay, so we've all had, like, we've certainly have some kind of like informal, lighthearted conversations about that. Realistically, in the current location, I don't think that would ever make sense.
Yeah.
The market value of those suites is just so high that
Oh yeah.
an RC track's just a terrible utilization of it. So what we're kind of trying to do with the track we do have, though, is finding a good balance between on-road and off-road, and then working in as many. We're only ever going to be able to hold so many races there, regularly. So there's almost like this ceiling, sort of, to a point of what you can do for income off race fees. So then we try to bring in, birthday parties and rentals and those things. But then you run into issues where it's like, well, now a racer wants to come and practice, but they really can't because they're going to get their car destroyed by a kid with a rental.
Yeah.
So there are all these different things we're trying to balance so that the track is constantly doing something to generate some revenue.
That's really good.
Would it make sense to do an on-road track and an off-road track? Maybe. It might make more sense to still have like a racetrack and then a basher course. Think like a skate park for RC cars. I don't know, but in the current location, I don't think it'd probably ever. I don't think we could ever do enough with another track to justify it. But if we could expand to a different site, or maybe the tracks move out off-site and the warehouse stays where it is. Yeah. I mean, maybe. Like, the owners there are not RC racers.
No.
But they are passionate about the RC hobby. They think RC racing is cool. They love providing a place for people to go and enjoy their hobby. And they're smart with business, but also open-minded enough to try things. So if it could make financial sense to do something like that and sort of fit into the whole business picture there, maybe. I'm not going to say no, but right now, I don't see it on the radar in the next couple of years.
I was really hoping that the Arkells would have their kids racing.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't dig it,
Some of them do. I know they're also really busy with a lot of other activities and things.
As you know, I mean, you're a softball coach. Am I correct on that one?
Nope. I'm definitely not. No.
Okay, that's. Man, I might have gotten wires crossed.
It happens.
Billy Kelly is saying $660 for a touring car is affordable. In today's market, it is.
For brand new, yeah. Because, I mean, you got to remember, used is going to go for half a new at most. So, yeah, it just is what it is.
It is. Also, and again, I run fifth scale, so everything's cheap in comparison.
Yeah. The one thing to remember with touring cars is, like, the sticker price gets all the attention.
Mm-hmm.
But the TC8, I think, is going to need some parts to be, like, an A-level contender right away. But otherwise, you pretty much get what you need in the box. And you got things like tires last forever. The cars are, well, if you're on gravities, they last forever. Jaycos have a shorter competitive lifespan, but whatever. Tires last a very long time, and they're cheap, $35 a set. The cars are super durable. You're not buying parts often. It's like high upfront cost, but low maintenance cost.
Right. So now I have a question for you on, speaking of low tire wear. How did you guys come up with the new carpet for the off-road?
I went to Menards, I went to Lowe's, I went to Home Depot, I looked at a bunch of carpet. I grabbed samples of things that I'm like, this seems like it could be a shot. And then I started sending pictures to guys like Kyle Holmberg,
Yep.
locals who have kind of raced everywhere and know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we just picked one and tried it and got really lucky. And now I'm kind of telling everybody that's the carpet to buy.
And Island's getting new carpet at the end or after the Nationals. I really hope they go down that route. I do, because it's going to be if they do, it's going to be sweet, because you guys got the carpet, the toy box got the carpet, so I can bring my same cars and race them competitively at 2 spots. I don't need 2 cars for 2 different surfaces.
Right.
That is,
I'm sure the biggest difference there is how they build their jumps versus how we build ours, and how you need to set up for that. But the basic setup, your tire selection, all that, it's the same.
Tire selection might be a little different, because the reason being, they don't have like a subfloor and it's a little colder. But other than that, the general setup should be the same.
One of the reasons I went with the carpet I did, and I'm pretty sure I've sent you the link, and send that to everybody. Like, blast it out there. This isn't something I'm trying to hang on to. Like, I want everybody on the best stuff they can get.
Yep.
One of the reasons we chose this carpet is it has a backing.
Yep.
It's only $1 a square foot, so it's not that expensive. It's like a loop, but it's kind of a small loop, so there's a lot of good points for the tire to bite into. But it's got a fiberglass backing on it, so that adds enough weight that the carpet's not shifting around. It also helps it lay really flat and stiff. So I think not having subfloor isn't probably as critical with it. Temperature-wise, it is. But in on-road, I think a carpet track builds a lot of grip when the carpet floats on it. And the car kind of goes in the corner and the carpet like bunches up and builds kind of a berm. Right?
Yep.
This stuff's not going to do that. So even if it's just like, I don't know, I just can't see the subfloor making that big of a difference unless their concrete sweats a lot or something like that.
Sure. Back on the old carpet, I used to get 2 runs out of a set of front pin swags with no sauce running on the new dollar carpet. I would say I'm a level to a level and a half below the top guys. Mm-hmm. I can get 3 competitive to me race days out of the front pin swags. That is massive. And the no sauce is massive.
So now about the no sauce thing, that we're probably going to open up to sauce again. We've got the carpet there to resurface all the jumps. Which that's why we went to no sauce, because it was pulling the fibers up out of the carpet on the jumps, and then it's packing in on everybody's tires. The carpet's sitting in the warehouse to resurface the jumps. We just gotta get
the time
freed up on days to do it. So before the end of the summer, that'll be done. And once that's done, we can try what will allow sauce again and kind of see what happens. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I also think because of the grip that carpet provides, you don't have to use sauce. It might be something where, like, maybe you can get another race day out of a set of tires if you start saucing them. I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? And kind of go from there.
Billy with the question. Once he goes, he didn't know the toy box switched from the turf. That turf towards the last half of the year was shot. Jason White was at the MNRC event this weekend, and he was telling me that, like, you could sit and pat the jumps and it would be AstroTurf dust just going boof. He goes, wouldn't switching to carpet hurt Island from getting bigger events? Well, not if people know their stuff. No. I think Island in itself is an entity at this. I think the era of black carpet for off-road may be over, because it's great for on-road, awesome for on-road. Just doesn't hold up well for off-road with our current pin tires. This is a scenario that every off-road track is going to have to deal with. Schweisberger thinks it'll get bigger. I know another option they're looking at is the carpet at Beach RC, because they have a different style of carpet.
Or are they on like the ETS carpet?
I think it's black, but it's a different carpet. I think ETS carpet's more of a gray, but there's a warehouse in Atlanta that carries the actual ETS carpet.
Yep.
So, your kids are watching on Sarah's account. They're saying, "Hi, Dad. We are watching your video." Awesome.
Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Go to bed.
Yeah, no kidding. We're not going to be. We don't have a ton more to get into, except for congratulations to Seth Van Dalen in taking a podium at the Roar Nitro Buggy Finals. He ended up with the 3rd place, but it looked like Dakota offended Mayfield just checked out. Seth hot lapped him, but that's not gonna, But I mean, 3rd place at Aurora Nationals. I kind of like the way they did it this year. Because, I mean, they did the electric and they did the nitro truggy the first half of the week. And then the second half of the week was like, I think it was from Thursday to today, it was just nitro buggy. And,
That's cool.
well, nobody was signing up for the ENATs, so that's why they decided to combine it. Yeah, she's saying it's Adele watching. But anyway, I really like the format. I do. It has a little bit of a Silver State vibe, except they should have. The only thing I would have tweaked was they should have done 2 classes the first half and then 2 classes the second half instead of 3 classes right away and then just 1 after. But
were they just trying to split by entries?
I think so. I really do think so. But it was an awesome event. I did some remote commentary for the event prior for the Nationals warm-up. And Thornhill, that just looks like an awesome off-road facility. It's smooth. It's high grip. I mean, we talk about if I won the lottery. Well, if I won the lottery, I personally wouldn't open an RC track. I would fund one. I would give somebody money, and my name would be nowhere near it. But, yeah, it would be like that. Oh, man. Jeff, they're taunting you. Your children are taunting you right now.
So the last time I tried to view the comments, my screen just went black. So I'm sitting on my hands over here. I'm not touching anything. They're
saying that they're never going to bed, dude. So
sure.
Anyway, we had a few guys from Minnesota. I don't have the full results up, and what kind of sucks. So sometimes with Live RC, it'll give you the final results just overall, like 1 through 100. And I think it has something to do with the format because it's not doing it for this. But let's see if I can find them, because Sully Sawinski and Ben Humphrey were both at the Roar Nationals as well. That's another thing. I like it and I hate it. I would like it because I would never make an A final at the Nationals, but they use the odd even final scenario, the ladder mains. So they started out with the 164th even, then the 164th odd. Then it goes down to the 32nds, to the 16ths, to the 8s, quarters, semis, and finals. I mean, I would like it, but let's play make-believe here for a second. So if I'm good enough to qualify second or third in the final, but I have to race a semifinal because I did not TQ. That would suck. Because the semis were a half hour long. So much bad stuff can happen in a half hour. I mean, we've seen it time and time again to where top guys are missing A mains because, well, stupid things happen in Nitro. I mean, that's part of Nitro racing. I know. It's just,
I don't think there's a perfect format, but like to me, it seems like that just gets more people racing more times.
Yeah.
Maybe you miss out on the main, but I guess I'd rather things got settled by race results than qualifying results.
Yeah, that's true. But it looks, my theory is shot out of the water because I'm like, well, you're TQ, but you didn't get to run quarters or semis, so you're a sitting duck because TQ's the only person who goes straight into the finals. But Dakota Fenn took her home. He's looking really good with those X-rays.
I mean, those guys, like they're going to learn everything they need to about how the track's evolving from their team, and they know how to read it. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, it's a whole different level. And that's one thing. I doubt we'll ever see it, but it would be cool to see Dakota run an on-road car now that he's on, X-ray. I would say their off-road team their off-road side, at least in the United States, is bigger than on-road. And I never thought I would see that day. But it would be cool to see Dakota run a little bit of on-road.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there were more people kind of doing both, but off-road's so much bigger that it just makes sense. They're going to put their energy into where the money is and where the payoff is.
Yeah.
And X-Ray's really been improving their 10-scale off-road program, so it makes sense. They're adding drivers.
Yeah. I mean, I have not followed Chase Lemieux's entire career. He ended up 4th. But you think with his dad, he would have a little bit more of an on-road background, but I believe it's all off-road.
Yeah.
Just because,
I remember seeing video of him running mod sedan somewhere.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think part of it, too, you got to remember, when Paul was racing on-road, 10-scale touring car was, like, a big deal at the time.
Oh, it was huge.
Early, mid-2000s. Yeah. Now it's like it's still legit. It's still a big deal, but it's nowhere near what 2-wheel buggy is or 4-wheel buggy or 8-scale is, right?
Yeah. If you want to get paid.
Part of it too, like Paulie grew up. I think he ran at Trackside.
Yep.
When Scotty Ernst was running that, and they had an on-road track and off-road track, and now that's just off-road. So there's probably some track things. I mean, I don't think they're that far from a Thunderdome, but off-road's just kind of where the money's at, I guess, if that's how you want to look at it.
Sure. I wonder if Paul ever misses racing. Oh, he's saying he ran modded. Huh?
Can't see how you wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. Eric says he ran some modded Thunderdome. He really didn't enjoy it. And I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a RC dork with mid-talent skills. I just enjoy driving anything I can get my hands on. But that's why I asked Eric about Heart of America, because, I'm doing the price check, and A-scale on-road is cheaper than 5th scale. I wouldn't mind getting a pit trailer and going to, Lincoln, Nebraska, or Kansas City, or Sioux Falls, and racing all summer long. That would be a blast.
Yeah. I mean,
I suppose.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your plans for race? I mean, obviously touring cars, your plans for racing. Schweisberger is wondering, do you think we'll see Mayfield doing some 10 scale off-road? He just signed with Schumacher and I've never seen him. I've never seen a picture with him with the Schumacher. I would assume so. I would hope so, but I don't. I mean, do you think he'll just like pop up on the world's list for Australia? Would you spend the money to take a guy who the last time he ran 10 scale was the 2023 Worlds in Arizona?
Mhm.
Would you spend the money to send him to Australia to run a car or two? I don't think I would. That's an expensive trip.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends what their, you know, the rest of their drivers are looking like right now.
I mean, Brock's got it on lockdown, man.
Yeah.
Rinderknecht is getting it figured out, and Tom, he figures things out. I wasn't really worried. The Schumachers are just so different than the X-Rays. I knew he would get it, and he is getting it now. I think he'll be all right. But you also have Michael Orlowski. He's one of those guys who can pick up anything and just be like, whatever, I'm going to win.
I feel like in my mind, he's the best overall driver right now. It might not be the best 8 scale guy or the best 10 scale off-road guy, but like he can, like you said, he can pick up any car in any class and be top 3 at any race in the world.
I want to say he just took 7th at the E-Buggy Euros, and with a kind of a prototype car.
That's just it too. They don't have the.
It was a Mugen with a couple of parts Schumacher made. Mm-hmm. But I mean, cool. And it's cool that he can do that, and it's cool he's going back and forth and doing whatever. You know, I hope I see Mayfield do 10 scale again. I don't think he's getting a monthly salary from Schumacher right now because he's not racing. He's only been doing 8 scale. I mean, we're 6 months into it. I mean, we're mid-June. We're latter half of June. It's the 22nd. Right. And he has not put that car that, I mean, might have club raced with it. But, I mean, nationally, we have not seen any results from him running that Schumacher. I think it'd be cool. So, I don't know, man. What about you? Are you looking to do any off-road this winter? I mean, you were having pretty good success with that B64.
Yeah, I might. I definitely have been focused on touring car quite a bit, but I feel like my cars are at a point now where I'd like to start dabbling with something else again. I don't know if it'll be buggy or if it'll be 12 scale.
Yeah.
I've got both of them sitting there. Just kind of this summer, going to run MMR a few more times, maybe go out to Genesis again. Really like to go down to Crash and Bash in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, catch one of their races.
Okay.
And then, once we get in the winter, I guess, hit all the local-ish weekend races, club races as much as I can. I don't know if I'd want to run my B64 again or update something else.
Wait a minute.
It's a really good car.
It is.
I don't know. I've just been having so much fun with the touring car. And right now I've got like my primary car that I can put down and run up front with anytime I want. And then I've got my test car that I'm trying all this wacky crap with. It's really fun, and I've been learning a lot. And now that's the car I've got my steel chassis on. And at Genesis was the first time I'm like, okay, my test car is actually better than my primary car now.
That's cool.
So, same pace, just easier to drive.
Yep.
I don't know. Probably just focus on sedan, and then whatever else is convenient, I'll show up with it.
Yeah. What was that 10 scale pan car class that you guys did at Christmas Classic that looked like it was so much fun?
Doing that, it was a lot of fun. So it basically turned back into WGTR.
Oh.
What I was trying to do was run 200 millimeter pan car with rubber tires, but WGTR is 1S17.5. It's stock 12 scale electronics.
Yep.
I was trying to do 2S21.5.
Yep.
And on those tires and at that weight, the car was like really fast. It was fun to drive because you could, even with a car that's hooked up and working well, you could still spin the tires, and you had to use like push brake and set it into the corner. It was a lot of fun to drive. It just didn't really. I feel like the guys who wanted something that fast are just going to run 13.5/12 scale or super stock or mod touring car, and the people who want to run a 200 millimeter pan car like just kind of want something a little more mellow.
The correct answer is 235 millimeter pan car 13.5/2S. That is the correct answer.
I'm down. X-Ray's got a new one coming. They just posted a teaser.
A new 235?
Yep, they posted a teaser for both 200 millimeter and 235.
Because me and Josh Sinclair and there was one other guy who tried doing it back in 2014. I like to try odd stuff, and that car was like, I want to say I used a Speed Merchant, and I want to say it took forever to get it because I'm like, you can't even get a hold of these people, and people were just accepting, oh, it might take you a month or two to get the car, but they'll send it to you. I'm like, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I don't know if Bruce is still even making them anymore.
I
know Andrew was running them for the longest time, and then he really kind of got forced into switching, I think. But
well, that's eventually everybody got forced into switching their 12 scales.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'd love to do some Pro 10. That was one of the classes I always wanted to try, and I think we had a little bit of it back at TCHR. Yep. I remember watching Bob Stormer run it the couple times he came out there.
Oh, my dad was running it with Bob.
Yeah.
With an old Delta Villain that was from the early 90s, and he was winning one of those national A mains, and something went wrong on the car because it was, at that time, it was 10, 11 years old, but the technology from like 1990 to 2001 was massive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you think 10 years ago was pretty close, not quite, I'd say the B5M, what I think was 2013 or 2014, around there. That to the B7, you can see the path, and it's not that big. 1990 to 2001, it might as well been 30 years apart. So, yeah, that would, if you guys got that, that's how you would get me back into on-road right there.
Okay, deal.
Schweisberger's wondering how long till we see a B8C. I believe team members were able to pre-order them last week or this week, because the general public gets pre-order first. So fairly soon. I'm excited. I know we're going to see a new truck. We're going to see a new buggy. I'm excited for what the future holds with Team Associated because, well, right now with that T64, it's so dialed the way Kyle and I have ours set up. It's so good. Now, if the new truck comes with the proper shock package, what we have now, just a little more refined, it'll be unstoppable. It really will be.
My guess is they learned a lot with the B7.
Yeah.
And the things that you can expect to see in the B7.1 are just going to already be, if they translate, they're already going to be in the B8.4 or they're going to be in the T7 or whatever, right? Like they're just going to learn from that, roll those into the truck, the wheeler, and then the B7.1.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, man, we've been going for about hour, 5 minutes. I know you got to get back and I want to spend a little time with the wife this weekend because I've been behind a microphone. So, do you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Oh, Del Judas says, see you guys in December for the Christmas race.
Heck yeah, man.
Always likes. I barely got to talk to him last year because we were so busy, but it was so cool. So
Yeah, that's a fun thing about Hilarious. We've got a lot of guys who come pretty much every year, and
Yep.
I feel like it's just growing and growing and growing. And last year we sold out. This year I think we're just going to sell out even faster.
That's cool.
I think we built some momentum with Icebreaker last year. That was close to 100 entries. And
Yep.
I think that's going to kind of get to that same point. It's just
Sure.
a good regional event.
Absolutely. All right. I'm Joe Zare Jr., and with me was our special guest, Jeff Choban, and we have ran out of talent. Have a good night, guys.